Hello, welcome to another episode of Fearox Frank Review. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have separate DVD cases for this. Well, welcome to another episode of Fearox Frank Reviews. Last time I talked about Jurassic Park 3, the third in the Jurassic Park series. Now I'm going to talk about the sequel, The Lost World Jurassic Park. This feels kind of awkward for me because it literally feels like nothing has changed. It's like been maybe an hour or so for me since I did the last movie review. So I'm not going to dwell on Lost World too much because I'm not really a huge fan of the film. I mean, I loved the movie back in the day because it was the mid-90s and I just loved the dinosaur films and I was getting into more and more stuff in a sense. Oh boy. So, what do I have to say about Jurassic Park 2, aka Lost World Jurassic Park? It's okay. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it in a sense, but I will say this. I mean, aside from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Lost World Jurassic Park is easily the darkest film in the entire franchise in a sense, up until, Fallen Kingdom. But, yeah, also, commercially the film was a huge hit, too. In a sense, because there was a shitload of toys for this film, and also there was supposed to be a cartoon series that was supposed to follow up with the film called Jurassic Park: The Chaos Effect, with a bunch of ridiculous toys, and one particular toy that never got released, in a sense, called the Ultimasaurus, and it was mainly due to the fact that it was a T-Rex mixed in with a Triceratops, Raptor, Ankylosaurus, but because they had the horns, it was feared that most kids would poke their eyes out and it would be too dangerous for kids to play with that. Yeah, considering what other toys were on the market at that time, I consider that bullshit. Complete bullshit. Anyway, the movie takes place in the same island where Jurassic Park 3 takes place in. So, Lost World Jurassic Park is called, basically, the island's called Site B. So, supposedly, the island has the dinosaurs there because they were born and bred there and then moved to the main island as the theme park. So, in other words, Site A is the park, while Site B is a wildlife reserve. That's it, in a sense. There's a lot more dinosaurs in this movie, in a sense. Mainly, if you see the toy line from back then, there's a ton of them. And supposedly the Spinosaurus was supposed to be in this movie too, but not the one we got in JP3. Supposedly we were going to get the Dimetrodon version of the Spinosaurus, but it was a completely different creature altogether. Honestly, I will say this movie had no regard for human life in the movie, in a sense, because I tried to keep track of how many people were killed in the movie, because there was a lot of people killed in the movie. Not just all the mercenaries who were killed off, but many people in the San Diego incident were also killed off, too. So this movie actually has a higher body count than most of the other movies, which is ridiculous. Honestly, I can see why people do actually like the movie in a sense, but in my opinion, the movie is just too dark. But then again, what's even more funny, if you read the Jurassic Park novel and its sequel, they completely differed because the novel was very dark, and its sequel was a bit more light-hearted, but still relatively very violent, in a sense. Both of the novels are very violent, in a sense, to the point where if they were actually made into real movies, off the novel, they would probably be not R-rated, but NC-17 rated, because that's how violent they were. Which is kind of funny now that I think about it, because movie-wise, the first movie was a bit more lighthearted with some dark elements into it, though, but it was still somewhat lighthearted. The second film was very much dark, in a sense. So, yeah, it's kind of like the movies went the polar opposite on that one. Well, well, I will say this, character-wise, there are some good characters in it, but honestly, my favorite character in the movie is probably Roland, the hunter, played amazingly by Pete Pufflefloyd. God rest his soul. He's awesome. Seriously, he is literally the best character in this movie, and he is a huge, huge fan favorite, too. And all the other characters, not really caring for them that much in a sense. I mean, yeah, Jeff Goldblum is back into it though, but all I have to say is, where the fuck was Alan Grant when you needed him? Seriously. I mean, I can gripe on this movie all I want to, but I know the internet likes this movie even more, so I'm not gonna like downplay it anymore in a sense. So, between the two films, in a sense, Lost World Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3, I prefer Jurassic Park 3 more than the Lost World Jurassic Park. In a sense, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind watching the films every once in a while, in a sense. So, like, I'll just sit down and watch all three of the movies and be happy about it. But out of the two sequels from the original trilogy, I'm going to say I like the third film a bit more than the second one because, like I said, the third film, it comes and goes. The second film is darker and it just drags on for a while. Oh boy. The biggest highlight in the movie has to be the ending of the movie where the T-Rex gets loose in San Diego, and this was a year before the American Godzilla film came out. And, you know, I just realized, I just mentioned Godzilla several times in the last few videos. Somebody's telling me I'm going to be doing one of his movies soon. Yeah. But all joking aside, this movie came out a year before the American Godzilla film came out, which was the 98 movie. So, and there's also Japanese people running around in the city too, yelling and screaming. Supposedly, if it was what they said was translated into English, it said, "This is why I left Japan." It's like, okay. Was it kind of acknowledging that Godzilla is actually in this film universe? Because if so, yeah, I would like to see Godzilla make a cameo appearance in this film universe. But honestly, the best part in the movie, in my opinion, is probably the ending scene where the T-Rex runs wild in San Diego. Other than that, I'll give this movie a bit of a pass too, because I do like the third film. I love the first movie. I like the third film. I'm not a huge fan of the second one, but I don't really mind the second one so much. So, Lost World Jurassic Park gets a pass in my opinion. I mean, I would say a lot more about this, but I'm not going to, in a sense, because I've lingered on long enough. Yeah, what other movie should I review exactly? Oh yeah, there's a couple of horror movies on my rack over here, on my DVD rack, that I want to take a look at, in a sense. And, oh shit, there's a martial arts movie I kind of missed out on I wanted to do. Well, as far as sequels go, I do like both the movies, in a sense. So, next film I'm going to do will probably be a horror film. So, until next time, take care.